India's path to independence was long, complex, and shaped by a series of laws imposed under British rule. From the fall of the East India Company to the dawn of a free nation in 1947, legislative acts passed by the British Parliament played a pivotal role in transforming India's political structure. Today, we will walk through the key milestones of Crown Rule, unpacking the Government of India Act 1858 and tracing every major legislative turning point up to the Indian Independence Act of 1947. Government of India Act 1858. We began in the year 1858. The Indian Rebellion of 1857 had shaken British control to its core. In response, the British Parliament passed the Government of India Act 1858, which officially ended the rule of the East India Company. Power was transferred directly to the British Crown. A new office, the Secretary of State for India, was created to oversee Indian affairs, assisted by a 15-member Council of India. The Governor General became the Viceroy, representing the British monarch in India. This marked the beginning of Crown rule, centralized and controlled from London with no Indian representation.
Indian Council Act 1861. The Indian Councils Act of 1861 introduced the first steps towards including Indians in the legislative process. The Viceroy's Executive Council was expanded to include Indians in a purely advisory capacity. Legislative councils were also established in provinces like Bombay and Madras, but make no mistake, this was a limited concession. Indians could advise, but not decide. Still, it set a precedent for future political participation. Indian Councils Act 1892. By 1892, Indian leaders, particularly those in the Indian National Congress, were demanding greater political rights. The Indian Councils Act of 1892 modestly increased the number of Indians in the legislative councils. It also introduced indirect elections, though these elected members were still nominated through elite institutions. Members could now discuss budgets and ask questions, but real power remained elusive. Indian Councils Act 1909, the Morley-Minto Reforms. The 1909 Act, also known as the Morley-Minto Reforms, was a landmark movement. It expanded legislative councils at both central and provincial levels and, for the first time, allowed Indians to be elected to them. Most significantly, it introduced separate electorates for Muslims, a move that would have deep, lasting consequences. While it gave Muslims a distinct political identity, it also sowed seeds of communal division. These reforms were designed to placate rising Indian nationalism while keeping true power in British hands. The Simon Commission 1927. In 1927, the British appointed the Simon Commission to review the 1919 reforms. The catch: it had no Indian members. This sparked nationwide protest, famously led by leaders like Lala Lajpat Rai, who was injured in a protest and later died. The Commission's exclusion of Indians became a rallying point for unity and resistance, underscoring the growing demand for complete self rule. The Communal Award 1932. In 1932, British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald introduced the Communal Award, extending separate electorates not only to Muslims but also to Sikhs, Indian Christians, and mostly controversially depressed classes or Dalits. Mahatma Gandhi strongly opposed this, fearing it would divide Hindu society. He launched a fast up to death, leading to the Pune Pact with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The pact replaced separate electorates with reserved seats. The communal award deepened the entrenchment of identity politics in Indian elections. Government of India Act 1935. The most comprehensive British law on Indian governance was the Government of India Act 1935. It proposed all India Federation, provincial autonomy, a bicameral legislature, and a federal court. It also abolished diarchy at the provincial level and proposed it at the center, though this was never implemented. While this act granted greater autonomy to provinces, the central government remained firmly under British control. It became the framework for the constitution of independent India, but it fell short of Indian aspirations for full sovereignty. British Parliament. It granted full independence to two dominants, India and Pakistan. Effective August 15, 1947, it ended British suzerainty, abolished the office of Viceroy, and empowered the constituent assemblies of both countries to frame their own constitutions. This act marked the formal end of Crown rule in India, bringing the curtain down on nearly 2 centuries of British dominance. Each of these acts, some reforms, some reactions, some missteps, form the legal scaffolding of British India. They tell a story not just of control and resistance, but of a people slowly reclaiming their destiny. From the 1858 Act that centralized British power to the 1947 Act that dissolved it. The journey of crown rule reveals how laws can bind, but also how people can break free. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into India's rich political history.